So,
Okay.
what would your evidence that Jesus is the Messiah be?
The evidence that he's the Messiah is, I think, in Isaiah, it does talk about the Messiah. It says in, I believe it's either 53 or 54, where it talks about
The piercing?
can you yeah, I think it might, if you
I
can
know all about
read from verse.
Isaiah. It's just so none of Isaiah is about Jesus.
And why do you say that?
Because the book of Isaiah, if you read the book of Isaiah in context, there's absolutely no indication that it's not happening. The only indication that is that this is happening right now, and they tell you
Hmm.
what happens. So when you do read the book of Isaiah, when you really like scholarly, like people who do debate this topic at a really high level, what they
Uh-huh.
do is they have to say this is a dual prophecy, in that there's just another meaning in the text, because if you just read Isaiah, there is no indication this is happening hundreds of years from now. It happened in the book, and they tell you about the person that was born. It was prophesied to King Ahaz. Like, it all happens in the book, Isaiah chapter 7, 8, and 9. Like, you just read a couple, you read those back to back, you'll never think it's Jesus because it's happening. Yeah,
If
so the
so, you're
beginning of Isaiah 9, 6 is actually talking about the kid that was, they were saying was being like born, conceived of in Isaiah 7.
huh.
So if you read Isaiah 7, 8, and 9 just straight through, it's like happening. That's why you get the argument from Christian apologists that it's a dual prophecy. Keep in mind that
Mhm.
when the people were writing the Old Testament, stuff was happening and they were writing it down. They weren't exactly prophesying for events happening in the future. A lot
Okay.
of it is, but some events are not exactly that.
With Isaiah 53, you're saying this talks about the person in Isaiah 7?
No, it's not talking about the person in Isaiah 7. So there's Isaiah, there's Deutero Isaiah, and there's Isaiah. There's different authors that wrote the whole book of Isaiah. It wasn't written by one guy in one time period. And the later parts of Isaiah are about the suffering servant of Israel.
Okay, that's what you mean by dual. Okay.
No, no, no. What I mean by dual is that the Christians impose that this is one unified meaning behind this whole book. So they think 53 is attached to 7, which it's not. Their dual meaning is that Isaiah 7:14 is about the kid that's actually being talked about in the book of Isaiah, and it's also talking about Jesus. So you have to change it to, well, underlyingly the author was apparently writing about Jesus thousands of years or hundreds of years later. That's the Christian's claim, because if you read Isaiah, it doesn't talk about Jesus necessarily.
Okay. Um, how would you dispute Isaiah 53?
Well, Isaiah 53, so it tells you who the servant is in the book of Isaiah over and over and over again. We'll go to 41 so I can go
Isaiah.
chronologically, because we're going to work our way up to. So, Isaiah 41, 8 to 9. If you want to read it for 1 second. So, what did you notice verse 8 said?
It said, "But you, Israel, are my servant, Jacob, whom I have chosen, the descendants of Abraham, my friend." He's talking about, Jacob. He's chosen Jacob.
The key thing is verse 8 says, "But Israel, you my servant." So, this is prefacing the thing that's going to happen later on. And we're gonna
Hmm.
go through a couple more. Because I mean, well, you've read 53. We're getting towards the idea
Hmm.
here. So just turn to 44. Just like flip right over to 44 because it's talking about the servant again. I
Hmm.
think it's verse 1.
Yes, it says, "Yet hear now, O Jacob, my servant, and Israel, whom I have chosen." Do you
So
want me to continue?
no, that's basically, you can maybe read down to verse 21 in this chapter.
Okay. It says, "Remember these, O Jacob and Israel, for you are my servant. I have formed you. You are my servant, O Israel. You will not be forgotten by me."
Okay, so then maybe we can go to Isaiah 45 verse 4.
It says, "For Jacob, my servant's sake, and Israel, my elect, I have even called you by your name. I have named you, though you have not known me.
So the person in this chapter doesn't know God, and he's been named explicitly, and God is reinforcing that he's been named explicitly. So turn to Isaiah 48, verse 20.
Okay? It says, Go forth from Babylon, flee from the Chaldeans, with a voice of singing, declare, proclaim this, utter it to the end of the earth. Say, the Lord has redeemed his servant Jacob.
So when you get to 53, if you've read the book in context, what would make you think the child from 7, 8, and 9 would be Jesus? And why would you think that person's the same as this servant that is Jacob? So 7, 8, and 9 in these chapters, these are different people in and of himself in the book. And they're both two different people from Jesus. And both prophecies are like, the kid was born and they talk about him and they tell you about how he what he eats and stuff. It's you never get to 53 and go, man, that servant that they just said was Israel 100 times and that God just reinforced, reminded us again that it's Israel, or Jacob Israel. It's hard to get to 53 and go, okay, that's Jesus. But if you only read 53 and 7:14, you go, oh, that's Jesus.